So many times people come to the magical path or the esoteric traditions hoping to learn secrets or some kind of magical principle that will allow them to change things, to obtain their desires, to get what they want. And that pursuit often leads us to frustration and less fulfilling outcomes. Where we're going to talk about how you can instantly charge your magical practice, your esoteric practice, and improve your life by shifting your focus in one simple way when we get back. And we're back. Welcome, everybody, to another installment of A Year of Thinking Magically. For those who haven't seen our broadcast before, we do these a couple times a week, offering you just a little glimpse and insight into a mind shift that I'm personally making in my own practice on a daily basis, with the hope that it inspires you to maybe make a similar shift in your own practice. Maybe it inspires you to just look in a different direction than you may have been looking, so that you begin to live a richer, fuller, more vibrant, and more expressive life. Manifestation has become a buzzword in the 20th and the 21st century, especially in metaphysical circles. But even in pop culture, we've become obsessed with learning all the spells, all the rituals, with learning all the secrets. And we think that that's going to get us what we want. Well, the trouble from my perspective is that we've never sat still long enough, many times, to allow enough or create enough silence from the chatter of what they call the monkey mind or your ego mind, to discover what we really want. You see, our dreams and our goals, our aspirations, can serve as fuel that help propel us toward a more fulfilling life. But too often we allow it to blind us. It blinds us to the richness that surrounds us in this moment. And as a result of that, we don't realize what it is that we're really looking for. And so we apply substitutes to what we think we're looking for. And when we fail to see the abundance and the security and the peace that we often overlook in this moment, we begin to delude ourselves. We delude ourselves into thinking more things will fill the void. We become painfully aware that there's a void there. So today, I want to challenge you, as I'm doing, to ask yourself what it is that you really want. Is it really that new car? Or is it the assurance that you can get where you need to go reliably and safely? Or maybe even economically? Is it the house at the beach, or the ability to slow down, to take in the beauty that we equate with the shore and finally relax into the moment? For me, that was a big one. I love living at the beach. I love living somewhere that's semi secluded. I often tease and say I don't like people that much, but I really do like people. I just don't like being surrounded by noise and chatter. I like those peaceful moments. I love the silence. And so I had to realize that the reason I dreamed of living at the beach again wasn't because of the beach as much as it was about what the beach meant to me. So we have to allow that space, that silence in our practice, to understand what it is we really want, because what we do in our practice, in our magical practice, our metaphysical practice, our spiritual practice, is we work with the energy around ourselves, around circumstances and conditions, so that we can shift that energy to produce better outcomes. So work your plans, honor your obligations, continue your studies and your practice, but do it in a place of, of recognition that the concept of need is a false construct. So if you will, Right now, just in this moment, ask yourself, are you safe? Are you sheltered? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have a place to sleep at night? Is there food in the refrigerator? You see, when we begin to shift our focus to the things that really matter, we begin to live more deeply in the moment. We start to realize that we actually have what we need. Now, we may desire more. We may desire higher quality. We may desire more ease to fill that moment. But from that place of gratitude that we have, that we are safe, that we have our needs met, we realize we don't need to manifest something that isn't there. We simply need to work with greater focus on what is there. So we sit with it. We allow ourselves to feel the energy of that circumstance or that condition. We allow the limitless well of possibilities and potentiality to gently infuse that energy with purpose, with clarity, and with greater expression. And if that happens, then we recognize that if you and I are perfect expressions of creative intelligence or source energy, then it's not hard to understand that money and wealth is only an outward expression of who we are. See, it's not the object. Having more money doesn't create the shift. Recognizing that money is an extension, an expression of us, of source itself, and that it flows to us, through us, and all around us, makes it easier for us to see that we are abundance, we are vitality in human form. And so money is evidence of that abundance. It's not the source of the abundance, it's not the cause of the abundance. And that's why I was able to go from, as many of you know, from being financially successful with an abundant and really incredible lifestyle to having lost everything after my COVID hospitalization and remain happy, remain at peace. Do I wish that I could get those things back? Yes, some of them. But because I'm the source of that abundance, and I know that the more I sit with that energy, the more I can infuse that energy with more vibrant expressions of the kinds of evidence I wish to see in my life, I can remain at peace. And so can you. Maybe it's something as simple as having the time or the freedom to create a beautiful new garden space, as I'm doing here this spring, where the plants that I work with for healing can be grown within reach, where I don't have to go out and outsource those plants. Maybe it's surrounding myself with those who love me and whom I love and sitting down for a meal. Or jumping on a Zoom conference with those that I can't be close with right now. See, when we live from a place of love and gratitude instead of a place of need and despair, we're emotionally and energetically freer to discover the potentiality that's all around us. And that is where our magic begins to manifest in richer and more vibrant ways. So I'm not saying that you should stop your studies, continue your pursuits, continue your practice, refine and hone and honor your obligations. But recognize that the source of the creativity that you're looking for in these studies, in these spiritual practices, in these classes, the source of the transformation you're seeking is you. And when you recognize that, when you understand that principle, then it becomes easier to slow down, to calm your mind, and to begin to look at ways that you can use your power to begin to shift that energy, to begin to transform those circumstances, and to create a more vibrant, richer, fuller life. That's what we do at the Inner Alchemy Mystery School, and as a community at with the Inner Alchemy Collective. We look at the various traditions and paths and techniques and technologies that exist all around us, and we find the ones that support the best way for us to approach creating something new in our lives. If you were going to Michael's craft store and you wanted to be able to create a vase for flowers on your table, would you go to the yarn department? Probably not, because yarn is not an effective material with which to create a vase or a flower pot or something of that nature. You would probably go to the clay department, to the pottery department, or to the ready-made vases and containers and things like that. So that's what we do, is we look at all of the various technologies and traditions and paths that are available to us, and we find the materials that we can use that'll support our objective. And so that requires being willing to get a little uncomfortable, to sit with that energy, to sit with those circumstances, and to say, you know, I feel like I could do more with more money, but right now in this moment, I recognize that my needs are met. So what can I do to attract more of that energy so that that expression of my needs being met expands? So then your magical practice becomes a practice of expansion, not of creating something out of nothing, simply expanding the creation that's around you now. But you do that by doing what we say at the end of every one of these short broadcasts, and that is to return to the present moment, to be grateful for what you've got. Because if you can't be grateful for what you have, there is no reason to think you're going to be happier with more. But when you fill that moment with gratitude, you fill that moment with recognition that you are enough, then you unlock the potentiality, you unlock the creative energy, the ideas, the options that exist all around you, to be able to manifest your best life, and to know, as we say at the end of these broadcasts, that the best is yet to come. So I want to thank you in advance for those who are sharing these videos with folks that they think might vibe with this message. It's why we do what we do. And to encourage you that if you know somebody who might be curious or interested in exploring some different ways of approaching their spiritual path, their metaphysical practice, manifestation in their lives, the magic that every breath is, we invite them to take a week and poke around here at the Inner Alchemy Mystery School. You'll see the URL, which is right down below here, inneralchemy.online/collective. You can take an entire week risk-free to look around, see if it's a good fit for you, meet some of the folks that make up our community, which we refer to as the collective, and then tell your friends about it as well. We appreciate that as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you sometime next week. I hear that there's a possibility that Zia Angelina Serafina Tutacosa will be with us again one day next week. So we'll see. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth. And meanwhile, have a fantastic rest of your week and into the weekend. Recognize that right now, right here, you have all this stuff you need to reclaim that power and to begin creating and manifesting the life you deserve. But it starts with recognizing why, what you ultimately hope to achieve, not the short-term manifestation, but the manifestation of the feeling, of the expression, of the end result that's going to come from that. We'll look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great one.